Did you come from something or nothing?
No, actually I came from my mother. And
Okay, so you have an originator.
my mom, so I'm here.
Okay, so you have an originator, your parents. Where did your parents come from?
So, the Paris. Oh, all right.
You see, no matter which way you spin it, everything you see has an origin.
All right.
You can't disprove me. You can't even prove that you exist.
Does that prove that God exists?
No, it proves that there's an originator behind all of life. That's what it proves.
Christ's forgiveness of
Christ's forgiveness.
Christ's forgiveness.
Christ's forgiveness
How
ministry.
Christ's forgiveness
Forgiveness ministries.
But just because you have a personal experience, it doesn't make it the right experience. And it's the same way someone can say, I believe in the spaghetti monster, doesn't mean he exists. We know something exists based on the relevant data and knowledge that we pass down, the facts that line up with the experience and the meaning behind it. Flying spaghetti monster, how do you know he exists? I'm not going to prove he exists. How do you know you exist? Prove it. Prove that you exist. Prove that you exist. No, I want you to prove that you exist. Prove to me that I'm talking to a real person.
I think so. I'm here.
Why you can't prove it?
I think so. I'm here.
You think. Do you know you're here?
What? Do you see me?
I see you, but it doesn't mean you're real. I see a lot of things in my dreams. It doesn't mean they're real.
That means.
How do I know you're real?
That means you're talking to an imaginary person.
Probably. You probably are imaginary.
So that means you're crazy, aren't you?
Does it?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
So if I don't
Listen,
exist,
you don't know that you exist.
do you exist?
No, I exist, but you can't prove that you exist. Prove it. Give me one good one proof that you exist.
Actually, we're talking about flying spaghetti monster.
I want to know if you exist. You can't give me one proof that you exist. Can you?
Huh?
Just give me one thing that you exist.
I'm thinking some exist. I know.
You're thinking because you exist.
I know that I do exist.
You know.
But there's no evidence about God. Prove me that God.
So you know he exists. So what makes your knowledge true or false? Or what makes it true?
So what's your definition of true or false?
Can we just stop right there and just at least settle one thing? You can't prove that you exist.
Like, why should I even think about it? Like,
Well, that's my point. You see, your theory about why does God exist, I can tell you why God exists. I'll tell you why God exists. Because of experience. I've experienced God. So many people have experienced God. The simple question and the simple answer is this. How does God exist? Because of experience.
what kind of experience? So I do
Ask
exist.
them how he got here.
What kind of experience?
I have experience. So I say like flying spaghetti monsters because I have experience.
You have experience with the flying spaghetti monster?
Yeah, you have to see me every day. Like, yeah.
So if you've had experience with the flying spaghetti monster, then all you need to do is prove your experience. If your experience can be proven true, then I can say that the flying spaghetti monster is a reality. But you can't prove yourself. You can't prove that you exist. You can't even prove that the flying spaghetti monster exists. But I can prove to you that God exists because the experience of countless of billions of people on this planet for thousands of years have declared that God exists and they've experienced him personally. Billions of people.
So there are billions of people who believe in Zeus, and they have experiences.
Billions? No, there's never been billions of people that believe in Zeus. Never.
So like, there was never something like Greece, ancient Greece.
Yeah, and there weren't billions of people in Greece.
In the times, like in thousand times, billions of people existed.
There weren't billions of people in Greece. In fact, the billions of people that we have now,
So the
we
fact that
didn't have as much people then before.
God, does that prove that God exists?
It's one proof, and you can go deeper than that, right? You see, all experience has to subject itself to fact and meaning, right? All experience. So your experience of Zeus, I can say the reason why Zeus is not real and people claim to experience him is because when you actually deduce it and look deeper into their experiences, you realize that nobody has actually experienced them at all. But one thing I could probably say about
this statement, like maybe they have. How do you know?
okay, so maybe he had, and I'll say maybe they experienced a demon called Zeus. So maybe Zeus is real. He's a fallen angel, and he's a demonic entity. And maybe your flying spaghetti monster is real because he's actually a fallen angel or a demonic entity. But one thing I can tell you is that you still, at this point, can't prove that you exist. See, that's the biggest question. Because if you can't tell me you exist, I might as well stop this question or stop this discussion and just keep on going because you don't exist. I'm talking to an imaginary person, right?
What? I was thinking to God. You said
Experience. I've experienced God, and other people have too.
you're changing the question. Actually, let's come back. I asked you a simple question. Prove me that flying spaghetti monster doesn't exist.
I don't believe in the flying spaghetti monster. I'm saying if you believe in it and you can prove your experience, then maybe he exists.
So there are as much evidence as your God, as Jesus. I mean, there are no more evidence that proves Jesus exists than evidences which prove that flying spaghetti.
Jesus Christ was an historical figure with historians that have written and seen him and known him personally. Historians. I don't know any historian that has said that they've met the flying spaghetti monster.
There were a bunch of schizophrenics, or maybe, I don't know, some authorians who wanted to control the people in that moment. So they
where do you base your beliefs on? What fact? What historical record proves that?
Do you know?
You're telling me. Who are you? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, you're a 19-year-old telling me what happened 2,000 years ago, and you have no historical backing?
Yeah, I have actually. Do you know the place that is called Ephesus?
Yes.
So in Ephesus.
So nobody trips.
So let me say my work. There's a place in Turkey. It's called Ephesus. It's an ancient city, right? Right? And so there's a place in that city which Romanians gathered. I think it was 400 after Jesus Christ. After the moment you believe that Jesus Christ was born, in that moment they declared Mother Mary as virgin. I mean, before that nobody believed in Mother Mary as virgin, and in that moment they decided to declare Jesus as the Son of God. No person before that moment believed in Jesus as the Son of God. So
just a very quick question, man. What historical data do you have, or text or anything that proves what you said? Because I have historical data that proves the existence of a Son of God even before Jesus. From the Dead Sea Scrolls, found in a Qumran village. They spoke about the coming of the Son of God, the Son of Man. This was established belief long before Jesus Christ even came.
So, what's your source? What's your source?
The Dead Sea Scrolls, religious texts that exist, and we have.
That's hilarious. You're proving your belief with the religious texts.
But at least I have a text. What text do you have to prove anything you just said? Because what you said is historically false. What you said is that people didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God prior to some cult in Ephesus many years later. That's not even true.
That's true. All right. So, before Jesus Christ, in ancient Roman, people believed in myths, and those customs entered Christianity, like the Christmas and like another one.
You're mixing up a lot of stuff altogether. But again, I'm gonna start.
These are all characters of Mithra, which entered Christianity. And what you're talking about with Jesus Christ, it's actually the character of Mithra. You're believing
That's what you feel, but it's not true because Jesus Christ wasn't born on December 25th. No, you do feel it.
I had so many mistakes about Mithraism, and
why don't you do a university academic exercise and look at the other stories of Mithras and all those other stories that you're trying to argue. But the point of the matter is this. There are historical records of an existence of a person named Jesus Christ, both from Jewish sources, secular sources, and Christian sources. So if this was in a court of law and you put 3 witnesses against yourself, a 19-year-old from 2020, they would win in a court of law over you, based on the historical text that we have. So, a But a lot of the evidence, no, I'm just saying is that historical data proves the existence of Jesus Christ.
No, that's
You
not historical data.
have you have a theory.
That's
Religious data, secular historians have written about Jesus. Jewish people that didn't even believe in Jesus being the Messiah wrote about his existence, as well as Christians. And there's over 4 texts, 4 gospels that attest to his stories. So out of all of this evidence, and also prophetic evidence before, archaeological evidence backing up biblical data, I can deduce that the biblical story is true. But your evidence, which you have no evidence, you have no text, no evidence, and nothing behind anything you're saying, and you can't even prove to me that you exist. I mean, that was one question I had to you. Prove to me that you exist. I just want one evidence that you exist. If you can give me one evidence that can be substantiated, then maybe I believe you exist.
I'm here. That's
You're here. Who said that? What if we're all dreaming? What if this is a bad nightmare?
so proving.
No, it's you need to prove that you exist.
So like this is obvious. This is obvious.
It's obvious. What's obvious?
That I'm here.
No. What if you're a dream?
Is it obvious? That I'm
Obvious to who?
here? To you.
To who? How do you know we're just not in a big computer program right now? And you're just kind of going through the motions of a computer
Still
program.
I'm here. Still I'm here.
Here, what does here mean? What do you mean here? Here where?
What? Like this
Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Sounds crazy. You know what's really crazy? Is that you can look around you and you can clearly see with your own eyes that everything has an origin. Even Darwin wrote a book called Origin of Species. And for you to believe, listen to me, for you to believe, or for you to see that everything around you has an origin and you can't even believe in an originator, that to me boggles my mind. That you can't believe that you have an originator. You can't even tell me how you exist or what here means or what exist means. Do you get me?
No, I don't get you. Like you're asking hilarious questions that I know I'm here. Okay?
I don't know you're here.
So that means you're stupid. Yeah.
No, it actually makes you a fool. The Bible says the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Because if you can look around you, there's nothing on this planet that doesn't come from a source. Is there? No, tell me. Is there anything in this planet that doesn't come from a source? I'm escaping from your questions. I've answered all of your questions, sir.
That's hilarious.
What question didn't I answer? Tell me. Just ask me the question.
Does religious text prove itself? Because I can write on a paper that flying spaghetti monster exists. Does that mean that flying spaghetti monster?
It doesn't. But if there was many witnesses of Jesus' existence from secular historians, Jewish historians that didn't even believe in Jesus, and Christian historians. Okay, look, the secular people that didn't believe in Jesus, they wrote about the existence of Jesus. Does that make it credible? Someone who didn't believe in Jesus, the Jews that rejected Jesus, they wrote about Jesus. Does that make it credible? I mean, if you're saying if I wrote a belief system on a piece of paper and that could just be arbitrary, that means it could exist. If people, that's like saying an atheist wrote about the existence of this man, David Lynn, on a street corner on 2020 on January 12th or 13th. So if an atheist wrote about me, would that make it credible? No. So what makes anything credible?
So
What makes anything credible?
you know what makes anything incredible? The fact that something came from nothing, and without
Something came from nothing is credible?
that's incredible.
Where did you come from?
What?
Where did you come from?
I'm coming from Iran.
Did you come from something or nothing?
No, actually I came from my mother. And
Okay, so you have an originator.
My mom, so I'm here.
Okay, so you have an originator, your parents. Where did your parents come from?
So, the parents. Oh, all right.
You see, no matter which way you spin it, everything you see has an origin.
All right.
You can't disprove me. You can't even prove that you exist.
Does that prove my God exists?
No, it proves that there's an originator behind all of life. That's what it proves. And the originator behind all of life must have intelligence to bring forth intelligence, must have a judgment, a rationality to bring forth rationality. Are you a rational being?
Actually,
Are you rational?
yeah, I think I'm rational.
Where did you get that from?
All right.
You got that from your DNA. Your DNA is a coding system, and you can't get a code without a coder.
Would you let me ask my question?
Go ahead.
So, actually, I start with, so, like, we know how the universe can come exist from nothing, right?
You know.
I cannot tell you because I don't have any paper to write it.
You can't tell me.
Yeah, because you don't know mathematics.
No, I actually do.
Alright, maybe you do, but there's not enough time for that. So, we have theories with mathematical
Theory?
Yeah, with mathematical evidences which can show that the universe can come from nothing, alright? But the fact that they're not still completely proved.
Okay, so you got a theory that's not completely proved, and that's your basis for fact.
So that means that we're still not sure that how did the universe.
Did everybody hear that? You're still not sure of that.
Yes. We're still not sure how did the universe began, all right? But the fact that we don't know how did the universe come to exist.
So wait a second, man. Wait, stop, man. Stop. No, I gotta stop you in your track because you're telling me that you know how the universe can come into existence with nothing, but it's still a theory. You're still not sure at the same time how the universe came into being.
Exactly. All right?
So you don't really know anything you're talking about.
All right? So does the fact that we don't know how can universe come from nothing, does it really mean that God made it?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but it does mean that there is a life force or a power that brought everything into being that's more stronger than you. How do you know? Okay, well, listen to me. The greatest power that exists here, you said it must have an origin. It must come from somewhere, right? This logic would deduce that, right? You came from somewhere. The powers that be came from somewhere, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be God, from what you understand, so I agree with you. But the powers that do exist, the reality that we see today has rationality, has order, has meaning, has structure. It doesn't have order. So why are you still standing in one piece? Why is a car and not a plane? Why is a door and not a key? There's meaning. There's the genetic errors made a key, and a door, and a man, and a woman, and a human, and an ape, an ape. Listen to me. God made things orderly with rationality and design. There's a design behind everything. There's a meaning behind everything. That's why we have dictionaries. That's why me and you can understand each other. You see, if there was no meaning and there was no absoluteness to the things that we're saying, me and you would never be able to comprehend each other. We can only comprehend each other because we have a shared meaning on language. And language and meaning come from a source. You learned your language, or you learned English from whoever taught you English. And that meaning was passed down, right? So there's meaning behind things. And if you don't understand meaning, then why are you studying anything in school? You're talking about mathematics. Mathematics is based on objectivity and fact and meaning behind the numbers. 1 + 1 = 2. It doesn't equal 4, right? Now, if everything's just random, 1 + 1 can equal 10,000 today and 1 billion tomorrow. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make, what I just said doesn't make sense. But you want me to believe that this universe is just random and everything's just floating around and just poof and one day. So how come we don't see apes coming out of the jungle becoming humans today? And why don't we see you becoming a lizard today? Or is it magic? You believe more in magic than in faith in a God? Maybe we should get Harry Potter with his wand and just hit you, make you into a flying raven or something. That would be random.
So, like, doesn't your misunderstanding, or maybe you're trying to escape from what I told you? Random doesn't exactly mean that there's a ghost. There might be a ghost behind that street, right? There's a universe, and there are physics laws, right? There are laws of physics, and the world we live in is based on those laws. And
you know what the fundamental law behind all the laws of physics and all the laws of the senses? It's faith. You have to believe that these laws are actually meaningful and purposeful. If you have no faith behind the very things that you believe, then that means the very things you believe are not even a reality.
Fundamental law, right?
Faith is a fundamental law.
Does it
Yeah.
make sense to me or not?
Doesn't make sense. Think